All right. I want to talk to you guys about something that is very important. Red flag laws. Today is the 13th of January 2020, so if you're watching this in the future. Today in Colorado, a judge refused to sign a red flag order. So I want to talk about a few things. And this conversation is going to culminate in how do we get rid of red flag laws and how do you never find yourself the subject of a red flag order. Let's go to it. What is a red flag law? Well, quite simply, a red flag, a warning. These laws have been around for a long time. The oldest one's about 20 years old in the United States. I think at my last count, there's 17 states with said laws. A theory I have, I developed during my time in politics, I firmly believe, and don't get what I'm about to say wrong, even if you don't agree with a law or the lawmaker, I do firmly believe that most of our representatives, even when they're on the complete opposite side of the aisle, I think that they are trying to do the right thing based on the totality of their life experiences. I have to believe that based on just all the people I've met. Doesn't mean you have to agree. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying is them trying to do the right thing is right, but I do believe that. As such, these laws were put together as a way to try to stop violence. You can't fault somebody for that. And as such, when you understand that, it helps change the way that you communicate about it. That said, these laws are not perfect. In a lot of ways, they are a very slippery slope of our liberty. We have due process in our land. Our sacred Constitution protects us under the code of law. Laws are there not only to say what we can do, but what we cannot do. And one thing the government cannot do is deprive us of our rights without due process. And that is what happens in a lot of these cases. I know two people personally that were deprived of their Second Amendment, their constitutionally protected right to keep and bear arms without due process by the improper use of these red flag laws. Now, that said, we are innocent until proven guilty under our laws. It is the burden of proof, or the burden of proof rather, is on your accuser to prove that you are wrong, to prove that you have in some way violated law. We cannot be tried or very much less punished for something we may do in the future. That's the problem with these laws, and that's why people get so wrapped around this notion of impending doom when a state passes one. My state passed them last year. We fought very hard. A friend of mine here in this state, I'll tell you a quick story. She is a former elected official. She was a former state's attorney for the largest county in Illinois. She is running for judge. Person got a law degree. They kind of know what's up. A former employee of hers filed a red flag order with this county stating that they were being harassed. This person had their FOID card taken away. FOID card is a firearm owner identification card, which I also believe is an infringement on our constitutionally protected right of our Second Amendment here in Illinois. It's been around since the early 60s. It's garbage. And her concealed carry license, also something I don't think that we should have by law. Another point altogether, though. If it was not for her legal experience and background, she would not have come out of this in a good light. It took her a couple months. If it wasn't for her legal background and experience, she wouldn't have her guns or her rights back. It could have taken years. And that is the problem, that there is no proper due process in a lot of these places. That said, what just happened in Colorado, and I tell people this all the time, there are many times that these laws are attempted to be used in a judge, police officer, a police agency, a state's attorney's office stops it because they see this is not accurate. There is improper information being given to us. How does it work? Well, in most states, you swear out an affidavit. So when you fill out something that's a legal document and you put your story on it, that's an affidavit. You're stating what I just put down here, the version of events I swear is true. The deal is, if you're lying, you're committing perjury. That's a crime. And that's the same thing when we go fill out like a 4473 to buy a firearm. If you lie on that form, you are committing perjury, right? And that is the flip side. So our system has checks and balances. You go fill out one of these forms. The balance is a law enforcement officer, a judge, who is a judge, is an elected official or appointed. They're looking and they're basing their experience. Is this accurate? And that's the hard thing, man. It's a really hard thing to deprive somebody of their rights. Now, see, works just the same way that an arrest warrant, a search warrant works. Judges don't just hand out arrest and search warrants. And this is where I want to start to separate fact from fiction. The community of people that carries guns, talks about this stuff, I think has a lot of misconceptions. Meaning, it's not like judges are just handing these things out. It's that judge's ass when they are illegally depriving people of their rights. People get removed from office for that. It's a law enforcement officer's ass when they illegally or improperly deprive somebody of their rights. And they know it. That's why it's hard sometimes to get an arrest warrant or a search warrant. You have to have evidence. So, does it happen? It sure does. I know 2 people that it's happened to that they improperly had this go down. What are some challenges? Well, owning and possessing firearms, as I stated earlier, is not something that government bestows on us as a privilege. It is my right. It is your right. Not for hunting, not for target shooting, but quite literally to protect ourselves from the tyrannical overreach of government, of dictators, of invading forces, of somebody trying to burglarize your home and hurt you, of somebody trying to accost you on the street and rob or rape you. It is your right, your God-given birthright to own weapons to protect yourself. Period. That is not up for debate. Not with me and mine. I hope not with you either. That said, though, we now live in this society where we have so many people that misuse and abuse the Constitution and abuse their rights, that we now have lawmakers, as I stated earlier, feeling like they're doing the right thing to create laws to protect the general public. What do? Well, we got a couple things. One, we stop acting like idiots. If you carry a firearm for self-protection, for whatever reason, follow the law, live upright, don't do wrong. Guns are not to be used as toys. We shouldn't even have to talk about this. If you don't like your representative, so we use the term lawmaker, let's use the term representative. They work for us. They represent us, we the people. We don't hire you to go make laws to lord over us. We hire you, pay you, put you up in nice hotels when you're in our state capitals so that you can represent our will. So here's the problem. When we have these laws happening, it tells me something. So my time in politics, I learned a lot about winning and losing. I learned a lot about odds. I learned a lot about the nature of people. When we keep seeing these laws pass, and right now I believe 17 states has them, it tells me people in those states that are against those laws aren't fighting hard enough. I got this idea in my head. We who live here in the United States or who have been naturalized as citizens, we won the jackpot, man. It is a pot of frickin' gold to live here instead of anywhere else in the world. In my opinion, if you don't agree, go elsewhere. I don't even want to see your comments about it because it's hogwash. We are the freest, most wonderful, most blessed, most generous nation on the face of the earth, hands down, bar none. If you live here, you were gifted a pot of gold. I don't care even if your life sucked, if you were born into poverty, you still have it better than anybody. And you got the chance and the opportunity, and it might be hard, but you can make your life something if you want to. That's beautiful. So here we have this pot of gold. And I feel like we are entitled to about as much liberty as we can handle. We're entitled to about as much liberty as we can carry. Some people, I got a harmonica here. Some people can hold and handle about this much liberty. And then there's some people out there that can maybe take a backpack or a couple of bucket loads, and they can handle that. And they carry that load. They carry it on to the next generation. Some people carry this much. From every time to time, though, there's a dude that can pick a wheelbarrow up or a dudette, right? Somebody like Benjamin Franklin, right? That guy carried a pickup truck load, right? Somebody like Abraham Lincoln. somebody like, you name it. Somebody that really moved the ticker, man. They got down to it. They didn't take no for an answer. People that fought slavery, the people that fought for women's suffrage, the people that to this day fight for equal rights for people of various sexes, sexual persuasions, etc. That is people moving the load of liberty. And those that show up day in and day out to get the job done so that our Constitution and the amendments therein are protected so that we can continue to enjoy the freedoms that we have here. Somebody must carry that load. You're being born here or becoming a citizen here. It is not guaranteed that you will go all of your days with that liberty. It is actually your job as a citizen to do it. So when I see states, when I see regions, locales getting their lights knocked out by the other side, it tells me they're not doing their job. Pick a frickin' wheelbarrow up, man. Pick a couple buckets up of liberty and start carrying that load. Mick, I don't know what that looks like. I'll tell you what it doesn't look like. Spouting off bullshit on social media. Occasionally going to vote. Saying that you did your service in the past. That is not what I'm talking about. What it is changing laws. It is helping to get people elected, not just going and casting the ballot, but doing it. So when somebody wins, when our next president wins, he or she will have won because they carried the most load. They picked up the most weight and they got it done. This is my very simple explanation of how the world works. The winner carried the most weight, period. You can tell me that you think that there's conspiracies and elections are rigged. We've won campaigns, me and my friends, that everybody else said we were going to lose. It can be done. It takes work. It takes you doing more than talking about it. Mick, I don't know what to do. We're going to do a video series on that. We've been working on it. What it requires, though, is a concerted effort. It requires you actually getting out, pounding the pavement, knocking on doors, going to meetings. It requires more than going to an occasional Second Amendment rally and waving a sign. Those rallies are great as a morale booster. Those rallies don't change law. Those rallies don't do anything to scare people. They don't do anything to scare lawmakers. Oh, no, I'm not going to vote because those people are out waving a sign around. That's a problem. When we tell a lawmaker, hey man, hey miss, if you go against our constitutionally protected rights, we're going to vote you out of office. See, people do that. They say that, but then they don't back it up. Hollow, weak, empty threats. Now then, if you said it and then you mean it, and when that person goes against our Constitution, and then you and your buddies, you work tirelessly, you work doggedly, you work your fingers to the bone, and next thing you know, that person's out of office, they'll pay attention. They'll pay attention. Squeaky wheel does indeed get the grease. Now, if you are going to work to vote these people out of office, if you're going to work to change the laws, what else can you do? I think the number one thing that you can do to never get yourself wrapped up in one of these red flag petitions, pardon me, get a little tongue-tied. The number one thing you can do is very, very simple. In this one thing, if you do it, it's going to help you change laws. It's going to help you get people elected. It's going to help you raise money for political campaigns. It's going to help you be understood and heard. Check it out. Live in a manner that your character is unimpeachable. Live in a manner that your character is unimpeachable. Live in a manner where if somebody looks at you through a microscope, yeah, man, that guy's clean and green. I'm not talking you to pretend. I'm not telling you to pretend. I'm not talking to you telling you to put yourself out into the world in a fake manner. Man, I drink, I smoke, cigars. I tell dirty jokes. I crack it up. I'm a normal dude. I'm not talking about pretending to be some pious, fake person. I'm saying that if somebody looks at your life, your friends, your coworkers, the people that live around you, they know that dude's solid, man. That's a solid American. That gal, not her. Whoever's trying to pull this crap with this red flag law, that's bull crap. I know that person. Their character is unimpeachable. And if you live in that manner, guess what? People are going to listen to you. People are going to take note. People are going to pay attention when you speak. People are going to look when you ask for help. People are going to help you carry your load. And then it's not just you with those 2 buckets. It's not just you with that wheelbarrow. It's not just you with that pickup truck. It's you with a fleet of trucks carrying the load of liberty. And that, friends, is how this nation exists, because somebody like you said enough's enough. But then they acted. They didn't just talk about it, they acted. Words without action are meaningless. They are hot air, they are drivel, they do nothing. They're a waste. Live an unimpeachable life, where if somebody looks at you, they know, hands down, unequivocally, that dude, that gal, they got character, they got integrity, not them. Then if somebody tries to come against you, you have lived in a manner not because you're trying to protect yourself from wrongdoers, but because you're doing it because it's the right thing. That is what I'm talking about. Don't do it for the wrong reasons. Guys, I believe in you. I believe in us. I think that together, when we focus on the same things, when we focus in a concerted effort, man, we can move every mountain in front of us. It is exactly what our founders did. It is exactly what our founders expect us to do. And it is exactly what our country requires of us as citizens of this great republic. This is Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. I encourage you, live well, be well, work on that unimpeachable character, friends, and life will be pretty darn good for you.